Welcome everyone to this explainer. Today we're going to unpack something that directly impacts, well, pretty much every single one of us, often without us even realizing it's happening. Have you ever found yourself, 3 hours deep into a perfectly tailored viewing session, just kind of wondering, wait, how did it know exactly what I wanted to watch next? Well, today we're unraveling that mystery. We're going to look at the very foundation, the hidden blueprint of how artificial intelligence actually recommends what you see. We are examining the architecture of algorithmic curatorship.
Okay, let's dive into this. Billions. We aren't just talking about a big library of media here. We're talking about a chaotic, overwhelming, and frankly, completely incomprehensible volume of digital content that's pouring onto the platform every single day. I mean, every single minute. Imagine standing at the bottom of a waterfall, right? But instead of water, it's millions of hours of footage just dropping straight onto your head. Human beings literally cannot manually categorize, review, or sort this stuff. The sheer scale totally breaks our traditional methods of organization. It is, quite simply, an ocean of data.
Which naturally leads us to the ultimate question. How does YouTube actually decide what you see? Out of billions of possibilities, how does the system possibly filter this infinite, swirling mass of content down to just those specific 8 or 10 thumbnails sitting quietly on your personal homepage when you open the app? Take a second to really think about the sheer magnitude of that filtering process. It's not magic, folks. It's actually a highly structured, incredibly complex system.
Section 1. The infinite content problem.
So to really grasp this, I want you to imagine an invisible librarian. But hey, this isn't your standard neighborhood librarian pushing a little cart of books around. No way. This is a superhuman, hyper-speed entity. Every single time you refresh your page, this invisible librarian has to literally sprint through a library of billions of items, read every single summary, understand exactly what mood you're in right at that very second, and run back to your screen with the absolute perfect recommendation. And get this, it has to do all of that in a fraction of a millisecond. That is the fundamental problem this architecture is built to solve.
Section 2. Defining algorithmic curatorship.
Now, looking at this definition, notice the specific emphasis on the AI acting as a digital tastemaker to filter, organize, and present content to users. Notice we aren't just using the word filter here. We're using the word tastemaker. You see, back in the day, tastemakers were magazine editors, radio DJs, or television executives. They were the ones who decided what was culturally relevant. But today, that role has been completely handed over to artificial intelligence. It doesn't just organize the data anymore, it curates an experience that's specifically designed to match and, honestly, to mold your tastes.
And that brings us directly to the core concept derived from our source material today, the architecture of algorithmic curatorship, and how YouTube uses AI to recommend videos. I really want you to focus on that word architecture. We so often think of algorithms as, just lines of math or abstract code floating somewhere up in the cloud. But it's actually much more helpful to think of it like a physical building. Think of a multi-layered structure with different rooms, distinct levels, and a very deliberate design built specifically to process human attention. We're going to walk right through the front doors of that architecture right now.
AI acts as the ultimate digital tastemaker, shaping our habits through a hidden structure. I want you to visualize a massive, stadium-sized funnel. At the very top, billions of unorganized, totally chaotic pieces of media are just being dumped in. But at the very bottom, there's a tiny, perfectly polished tube that drops just a few highly targeted selections directly onto your screen. The architecture we're talking about today is exactly what happens inside that dark middle part of the funnel.
Section 3. Generating the candidate pool.
Let's move to the next phase and see how this builds. Now, what's really interesting about this process is how this wildly complex neural network actually simplifies down into a sequential two-step gauntlet. A piece of media absolutely must survive this exact gauntlet to ever reach your eyes. Step 1 is candidate generation, and step 2 is the final AI ranking. Think of candidate generation as the broad stroke. The system basically says, okay, out of billions of items, let's immediately ignore 99.9% of them and grab a few thousand that might vaguely interest this specific user today.
So here is exactly how the AI grabs those initial few thousand candidates. It's essentially a giant matching game between two distinct piles of data. On one side, you have the content. This is the raw metadata, the tags, the descriptions, what the video is actually about. On the other side, you have the user context, and well, that's you. This is your watch history, the things you've searched for recently, and even the literal time of day you're watching. The algorithm takes these two datasets and just slams them together. If the content metadata closely aligns with your personal user context, boom, that item survives the first round and officially becomes a candidate.
Section 4. the final AI ranking.
Now, this is where our invisible librarian gets ruthless. This step narrows those surviving candidates down from thousands to just a handful. How? Through incredibly intense precision scoring. The AI assigns an exact calculated score to every single candidate based on the absolute likelihood that you, specifically you, will engage with it. Will you click? Will you watch past the very first minute? The AI calculates all these probabilities, ranks the highest scores right at the top, and finalizes the recommendations for your homepage. It is a highly precise, deeply calculated sorting mechanism, and it's designed specifically to capture your attention.
Section 5. Shaping what we watch. So the crucial point is this. By curating our feeds, the algorithm inherently shapes our cultural tastes. See, this isn't just some convenient tech tool that helps us avoid typing in a search bar. It is a profound cultural force. When an architecture is designed to reward very specific types of engagement and then funnels them directly to millions of users simultaneously, it literally dictates digital trends. It shifts human attention en masse. The AI isn't just reflecting what we want anymore. Through this highly structured curation, it is actively teaching us what to want next.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly important question to ponder. Are you actually in control of your digital tastes, or is the architecture? When you click on your very next recommendation, are you really making a free choice, or are you simply arriving at the bottom of a highly engineered funnel built by an invisible librarian? I want you to really think about that the next time you open your feed. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, keep examining the hidden structures all around you, and I will see you next time.